What's up, guys? How's it going? We are back with another video. This time talking about the Steel Path. It recently came out. I mean, I'm kind of late to this, but I'm just getting back in the game. So Steel Path is kind of like New Game Plus from what I'm getting from this. And I think that's a great idea for DE. I think that's a great idea for Warframe. I'm just curious about the rewards. I've been playing it a bit. Just got started the other day, but so far I think it's pretty fun. I think it was like a much needed type of in-game that a lot of games do, which is a good idea. Like I said, it's a good idea for Warframe because it's like you have the star chart, you have all these characters, you have all these builds, you have all these different ways to play, and by having a new game plus, that adds an actual in-game, where you can say that there is a true in-game situation. My only issue is just the rewards and probably moving through the star chart. So far I've been playing, I just got to Venus from Earth, and I've been running with some people who have been doing missions on Mars, so I've been kind of getting into it there. But as I'm customizing my Warframes, I deleted all my builds because I haven't played in a long time, so I'm pretty much starting fresh. But from what I've seen and from what I've played, it's been really fun, and that's something that is, it's hard to say. Like, with the way Warframe is, I think that honestly bringing in a new game plus situation does make it a lot better, just because the fact that you're adding in that replayability, or if this had came out, let's say, I've been playing Warframe for 6 years, so if the Steel Path came out 3 years ago, that would have been really enjoyable, because it would have gave us something to build towards. And this is what I was saying with a lot of my problems with Warframe. There was nothing to make your Warframes for. It was like, okay, I could build a farming frame to farm resources, but what am I using those resources for? It's like, didn't really give you an incentive, whereas this kind of gives you an incentive. It kind of like gives you a reason to make your builds really strong, to make your builds overpowered. Well, because they're not really going to be overpowered in a new game plus situation, as I'm trying to figure out what to add to this Warframe in general. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, because the way Warframe is, there aren't really any good ways to receive anything. And I know that's like, it's kind of weird, but, or the way I said it is kind of weird, but it's like, what are we going to get out of this new game plus? When I unlocked Venus, I didn't get anything for it, so I'm kind of just like, because it's like, what do we get for it? What are we getting out of it? And don't look at me strange because I'm putting health and Hunter's Adrenaline on my Vara. But don't look at me weird. But it's just like, what are we going to get? Because there's really nothing to receive right now. There's really not too much that you can really get out of the game. And that's the thing that bothers me about it right now. Like right now. Like, we have this new game plus, but what is the new game plus doing for our builds? What is it doing for us completing the star chart? What is it doing for us, like other new game pluses, for example, where there are different drops, or there are increased drops? It's like, okay, we have 100%. When I get to the star chart in a second, after I figure out what the heck I'm going to put in here, we get like 100% mod drops and 100% resource drops, but it's like, what mods do we really need? You know, like there aren't any newer versions of things that we could have. I could put handspring on. Do I have enough for handspring? I think I do. Anyway, so like for example, what would be a good example? I had one and I lost it. I'll just put this one for now. So like a good example would be actually, yeah, let's go to a weapon. This is going to be a weird example, but all right. So we have pressure point and we have prime pressure point, right? So prime pressure point maxed out cost 14, to equip, whereas regular pressure point has a max of 9. Well, what if we had a rare version that you could only get in the Steel Path? You know, like the New Game Plus version of this mod, which would probably be either an uncommon or a rare, that gives you somewhat of a middle ground where if you don't have prime pressure point, where prime pressure point of course is the max that you want to get, you could get a higher version of pressure point, because we have, what was it, those fractured ones? I think we had fractured or broken ones. Yeah. So as a beginner, you would get these flawed versions. So these flawed versions were like, hey, I just started the game. It's flawed. It can only go up to so high. And then you get the regular version. And when you get the regular version, you're good. But they're both still like okay mods, that doesn't really help you excel in New Game Plus. So in New Game Plus you would get like a better version, just elevating it. There are games like Diablo, for example, or Diablo-esque games where they give you new gear as you progress, or even like in some cases like the Division 2, where games like that, they increase in world tier difficulty, which is like New Game Plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, but new things happen. So, while they have their map, maybe something different happens on Earth. Maybe Earth is not controlled by the Grenier. When you get to New Game Plus in Warframe, it's controlled by the Corpus, and then the Corpus have their own, like slightly altered versions where they have like maybe some stronger weapons or maybe some new tech, or maybe you have to approach them a certain way. That's how most people approach it, where they still act the same, but they act slightly different. Their AI is a little bit different, and you have to, approach them differently than you would from the base game. And they also drop different things. So like in Warframe, one thing I noticed is that the drops are still the same. So even though we have 100% resource drop chance and a 100% mod drop chance, and the enemies have, higher shields, higher health, they start at level 100, they're still dropping the same things. Like they're still dropping regular, like ammo drums, like who needs an ammo drum? But if the ammo drum was a ammo drum plus, like in terms of like say Monster Hunter, where they give you like plus versions. It's the same item, but it's a plus version of it that makes it stronger, that makes it better, that makes it more useful. Whereas ammo drum would still be trash because, very few weapons need ammo drum, for example. But having this New Game Plus Steel Path version of ammo drum, like a steel drum, something like that, we'll say, actually makes it so that you want to have it. You want to go out and farm it. You want to go out and scan enemies, see who drops it, farm those areas, giving you incentive to play, because you never know where, like I said, like the Grenier wouldn't start off on Earth, let's say, for this hypothetical example. So you got to find the Grenier. Where are the Grenier? They're probably on another planet. So then you got to scan them, and it's like, oh, holy crap, they dropped this, because you might get it as a reward, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. You never know. So it's like, certain things like that just really up it. Or like even with the junctions, like when I defeated the Warframe at that junction, at the Venus junction, I didn't get anything for it. And that kind of like got me sad, because I was like, well, you know, this is New Game Plus essentially. So if the Steel Path isn't giving me rewards for beating this Warframe at the Venus junction, and I forgot what Warframe it was, I think it was Rhino or something, it's like I should get an upgrade to that Warframe, you know, or maybe it's a Steel Path upgrade where, like, I don't know, I'm gonna throw out something extremely random. Let's say it was Rhino that I fought, because I don't remember. And like the Steel Path upgrade for beating him at the junction unlocks, let's say, a Steel Path item or something that increases Rhino's stats to be New Game Plus. You know, because like it, like let's say it increases his armor. You know, it makes him like super tanky, and it helps you get through Venus. You know, like that's the thing about Warframe that I've had a problem with for a while, is that they don't really help you move to the next section. You know, it's like complete all these missions. You really get no reward for completing all these missions. Like the Mercury Junction, it's gonna have me, you know, complete tasks, or I think it's from like the regular game. You complete different things to unlock the challenge to move on to the next planet, which is a good idea. But it's like, what am I getting for it to help me clear out the next planet? You know, am I getting a gun? Am I getting a weapon? Am I getting an upgrade? Am I getting a companion upgrade, or a mod that helps me, you know, survive more or do more damage or something? You know, like there are ways to upgrade it, and that's why I think like they have like these really good ideas, and I'm not trying to like bash them for anything. I'm just saying like they have these good ideas, but it seems like they don't have the people to follow through with the idea. And I say that with a question mark, because it's like D. Steve and D. Scott and everybody there, you know, who are developers, they've played plenty of games. You know, we got our melee system from Devil May Cry. You know, we've gotten characters from other games. You know, they've watched other games like Destiny really closely, because, you know, they've had, you know, thoughts of doing certain things, and Destiny did it and they did it bad, and they were like, well, I guess we shouldn't have did that. Like, you know, they've had this discussion with their live streams about what they've incorporated from other games. But it seems like what they're missing, and I've said this for a while, what they're missing is something that brings everything together. You know, like the basics of gameplay, you know, like kind of having that thing that helps you progress through the game. It's like, what does each planet give me that I can only get on that planet that helps me get to the next planet in the star chart? They don't have that. You know, what is, you know, if I beat this boss, does it give me a Warframe that helps me progress to the next planet, you know, in the base game? No, it doesn't. It's just another Warframe. You know, it's like, you kind of got to tell this story, but then you kind of have to set these like parameters where, okay, you completed this area, this small chunk of this area will help you move to the next area and complete that one, and that one will, you know, kind of like how Monster Hunter does it, where it's like, you know, you beat this monster, and when you farm this monster, you get this armor and you get its weapons that help you beat other monsters, you know, that have stats or that have something that benefits you or helps you survive or helps you, you know, defeat something further down the line. And Warframe just lacks that. And that's kind of the thing that's bugged me the most, where I really like Steel Path and I like where it's going. I really like that it gives me increased drops, but what am I farming for? You know, I'm still getting the same ammo drum. I'm still getting the same intensify. I'm still getting the same credits, literally the same type, the same number of credits. I'm still getting the same endo. You know, I killed an enemy on Venus and it gave me 15 endo. I'm like, wow, that's the same thing that it is in the normal game. So what's the difference? You know, it's not an increase of anything. I'm not getting more experience or affinity when I kill enemies in the Steel Path version. The enemies are just difficult. and it's just more of a challenge. It's like, okay, if challenge mode is fine, but you know, when you incorporate a new game plus, it gives you something that you wouldn't get in the normal game. So it's like, I feel like it just needs to be worked on a little bit more. I like that we have it as an option, but it's like at the same time, it's like we only have so much time until the new update comes out, which is August 25th, and I'm recording this on August 11th. I am not going to get to the derelict because I haven't played in like 2 years. Well, about a year and a half. So with my old builds and what I have, and like I said, I haven't farmed the Eidolons in past videos. I said I haven't farmed Eidolons. I haven't farmed Orb Mothers. I haven't even seen an Orb Mother. So I'm probably behind. I don't have Arcanes like everyone else. I don't have a lot of, you know, newer mods like everyone else. So I'm probably not going to get to the derelict before that new update. So by the time I get to the new derelict after August 25th in the Steel Path, if I can even get that far, I might have to go back to normal just to check it out. But then even if I go back on normal, what am I going to get from that that's going to help me on the Steel Path to get there on the Steel Path so that I can do those missions? I can complete that part of the star chart, you know, with better equipment, you know, that'll put me on their level, you know, type of thing. So I love the Steel Path, and I feel like it came out too soon at the same time, and I don't want to be harsh about it because it's like, I wish we would have had this years ago. I really do. I really wish we would have had this new game plus years ago, because it would have helped out with the old versions of the Void, you know, where it was Void Towers and we needed keys. It would have been fun to farm for those keys in the Steel Path, you know, and get better rewards, you know, and have it scaled up. I mean, probably would have been released like this, but you know, you want the name of the game is reward me for my time spent in game. You know, if I'm playing your game for long periods of time, if I'm going through the new game plus, you know, there should be changes, there should be alterations, there should be newer stuff, or at least just, you know, upgrades of old stuff, you know, where it may be the same mod, but maybe it has higher values because it's the new game plus version. Or, you know, I can get upgrades for my Warframes to do other things where, you know, maybe I might not have had the ability to I might not have had the ability to survive, or maybe they get a Arcane helmets. Oh my god, I forgot about that. So Arcane helmets, like, give us Arcane helmets, bring those back, you know. Like, yes, Arcane helmets in the past, some people liked them, some people didn't. And I don't understand why people did not like them and why people wanted to get rid of them so bad. Because now we have Arcane mods, well, the Arcane slots, and it works with the Arcane helmets. So essentially, we have Arcanes back in the game. But for some reason, people were like, no, that it hurts the game. And maybe at that time it did, but it definitely doesn't hurt the game now. And that could be something that could be used as a Steel Path, you know, where they could make newer, that weapon does not work. They could make newer Arcane helmets as rewards. You know, so it's not just cosmetics that you would get, but you would also get something that, you know, increases your stats in a way that only you could get it on the Steel Path, you know, or a slight little upgrade. I'm not really paying attention. A slight upgrade that, like I said, you only get in the Steel Path, which works, which I think would be awesome. You know, like that would be a reward worth it. Bringing back old Arcanes and then getting new Arcane helmets for, you know, newer Warframes since then, and just ultimately like being rewarded for our time, you know, or getting Steel Path weapons that are specifically for the Steel Path, you know, where it shows, you know, hey, I completed the Steel Path, or I beat this area, or I beat this boss, or, you know, I got through this content. You know, something. Because right now the Steel Path just kind of is like a way to brag. It's like, oh, you know, I have great builds. You know, my builds can handle in-game content. Ha ha ha. And that's really all it can do. So I don't know. Like I said, I like it. I like the idea. I think it just needs more. And that's it. I just think it needs more. It just needs something to actually make it a new game plus, or a evolution of Warframe, moving it to the next level. Or maybe just like the next chapter in difficulty, where it's more of a full game and not a, I don't want to say like half-built game, because I feel that's harsh, but it's like at the same time, this is how games are mostly built from the jump. But since Warframe is a ever-growing work in progress game, it seems like the idea is put out before it's finalized. That's just how it feels. I'm not trying to say that's what they do, but it's just like, I don't know, it just feels weird. Like if you were to see, I guess what I'm saying is, like, which you probably get by now, but like with Dark Souls, you know, you have New Game Plus and New Game, you know, New Game Plus and New Game Plus. You know, you keep going. Every time you beat the game increases. But the game increases and things slightly change. You know, there might be an enemy that's somewhere that it wasn't before, or you might get an item or a weapon that you couldn't get before because, you know, you didn't have access to that path, or to, you know, or to beating enemies a certain way, or you weren't strong enough to go a different route that you were before. You know, there's always some option that changes, or something that alters the game, where it's like, oh, I can do that now, you know, or I can get something that I never got before because now I'm stronger than I was before when I first went through on normal, or I didn't even know this area existed until, you know, I beat this boss, and I could have beat that boss first if I had the power to do it. You know, stuff like that. Like, it alters the way you play the game, and I don't know. I'm done rambling, but yeah, I hope to have more fun with the Steel Path. I hope that they do some much needed tweaks, or maybe even just like the Warframes that you get from the bosses. You know, if you beat, let's say, Sargus Ruck, you know, the Warframe that you get from him, well, yes, it's the same Warframe, but maybe the stats are better. You know, maybe it has more survivability for the Steel Path. You know, maybe I wasn't even paying attention. I don't know why I came into this mission. Maybe, you know, maybe you get like just slightly better stats that make it playable for the Steel Path, and then, you know, I don't know, makes the game more fun, gives you more incentive to mod it differently. You know, there are different ways. So I would really like to see what they would do with it, with this mode, with this increased difficulty, with its different way of play. But I don't know, and I don't mean to sound rude, but given DE's track record, they kind of build and forget. Like, they're always ready to do the newest thing and not really finish what they already have, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll see something. Like, I got a serration, but what if it was, you know, a serration that starts at 30% instead of 15%? You know, something like that. I don't know. I'm done rambling. I'll see you guys in the next video. Whatever that's going to be. All right. Peace.